Good day and welcome to another episode of Regional Review. I'm Kenya Kambowe, the Namibian Media Holdings correspondent in the Northeastern regions. On today's show, we'll be sharing with you highlights of events that unfolded in the Northeastern regions over the past week. We'll also have an interview lined up whereby we engage Mr. Matengu Maswahu, a unionist in the Eastern Kavango West region, who will be sharing with us how companies are complying with the labor laws of the country. Meanwhile, in history, today is World Consumer Rights Day, so check out the next video.
In our new segment, our first story is that of a witchcraft-accused pensioner from Kasiwi village in the Kavango West region is unable to leave her homestead after her son-in-law recently threatened to kill her. He blames her for his daughter's death. Earlier this year, Namibian Sun reported that 6 people, including a teacher, were arrested after they burnt down a cooker shop belonging to Sindimba Laurencia Nepembe, whom they accused of bewitching her own granddaughter who died on New Year's Eve. They appeared in the Kaenge periodic court in January facing various charges. However, Namibian Sun has been informed that they are all out on bail. The allegations of Nepembe being a witch emanated after the father of her late granddaughter approached a self-proclaimed prophet from Rundu who prophesied that the child died because she was being bewitched by her grandmother. At the time, the community took matters into their own hands and set fire to Nepembe's cooker shop. Namibian Sun understands that the 6 accused are close to the father of the late child. In that article, Namibian Sun reported that the pensioner fears for her life after threats that the accused would kill her. This week, she echoed the same sentiment, saying that she was confined to her homestead out of fear. Nepembe said 2 weeks ago, while sitting in the floodplain of Kavango River with her 19-year-old daughter, crafting traditional baskets, the father of her late granddaughter appeared out of nowhere and allegedly threatened to kill her. She said she immediately packed her belongings and rushed home. Ever since that day, she no longer goes to the river on her own. Our second story is about a global non-governmental organization operating in Namibia that retrenched over 20 workers last month, saying that its action was done in accordance with the law. JPIEGO faces a case of unfair labor practices after it hired over 20 workers on a 12-month contract last year in November, only to retrench them in February this year. A case has since been lodged with the Office of the Labor Commissioner by the disgruntled former employees of the Kavango East and Oshana regions. However, according to JPIEGO Country Director Abu Bakari Mwinyi, all legal procedures were followed as far as the retrenchments were concerned. He added that the reasons for retrenchment was because the Adolescents and Children HIV Incidence Reduction, Empowerment and Virus Elimination Achieve project was restructured, while some staff members were absorbed by the Catholic AIDS Action CAA. Mwenye also rubbish claims that the funds were misappropriated. The disgruntled workers are represented by labor consultant Diaz Kavu, who has been mandated by at least 21 of the retrenched workers to find an amicable solution to the issue. He argued that JPA could not follow Section 34 of the Labor Act and therefore the retrenched workers have a strong case against the organization. He added that the organization bargained in bad faith as alternative options to dismissal were not exhausted. Our third story is about netball. Two teams from Kavango East region who missed out on playoffs to qualify for this year's National Netball League have expressed disappointment in the Kavango East Netball Association after the executive members of this committee failed to show up for a meeting that was scheduled to take place on Saturday in Rundu. This is what they had to say.
Can you just tell us why we are here?
I'm the team manager for Eastern Chiefs netball team. We are here at the youth center where we came to attend the meeting, but unfortunately, we are here from 9 o'clock up to this time. It's almost 12 o'clock. There is no meeting which is taking place. The executive committee for Kavango, Kenya, they are not present here, not even one. So that's why we are here, so that we have to attend. We came very far from Dagani to come and attend the meeting, but we are disappointed that there is no meeting here. Jerry Hausiko is the chairperson of this committee, but he's nowhere to be found. We are busy calling all of them, the committee. They are not responding our calls. What do we do as a netball team?
Oh,
Because this is tarnishing the image of our Kavango region, and our netball is being tarnished.
tell us what is the meeting supposed to engage in?
The meeting was supposed to be an issue of the teams which qualified from Kavango Netball League to go and play off in Vindu to qualify to the Premier League. But then, apparently, we have been informed by Netball Namibia that our regional committee did not send any information concerning our league. So that's why we came here, that we have to engage our committee to give us the reasons why they did not inform Netball Namibia for our qualification. So now we are remaining with not qualified. We were supposed to go to netball to Premier League, but then we are deprived that right.
Okay. No, thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for making time for us. Can you just tell us about the whole compliance of labor laws by companies that you are administering in the region?
Thank you very much, Mr. Kenya Kambowe. I'm Richard Matengu, the coordinator of Metro Allied Namibian Workers Union in the two regions, Kavango West and East. However, we are observing some good compliance in the construction industry. In terms of typical government programs, you'll find that the minimum wage is paid accordingly. The PPE also is supplied. Still in the construction, we do have some little challenges with developers. Those who are digging money with alternatives or through Development Bank of Namibia. However, them now in terms of minimum wage, to them still a problem because they are saying this is not the government. We are paying back this money in terms of interest. Therefore, we pay how we can. However, we understand because they are not part of TPIC or government. They are not government entities, but we are advising them at least to push to the nearest. Which today we talk about a labor, a general worker. We talk about $17.88. At least if they push to $15 per hour, so that at these workers when they go home they go back with something. In general, we have got problems in terms of retail when it comes to contract of employment. Most of workers in the retail sectors are put as casual workers, which is this, we define it as labor hire. And labor hire was abolished just after independence in terms of because this was a system which they were using in the contract system. And for now, the Labor Act is very clear in terms of probation period and permanent contract in terms of performance evaluation and so on. Um, the other issue is PPE in some other sectors. Some other sectors in terms of mechanic workers are not taken care of in terms of PPE. When I mean PPE, I mean overall safety boots, earmuffs, helmets, and so on. This is not taken into seriously into other sectors of engineering. And if you can bear with me, Comrade Kambowe, 2 years back we lost an employee who was choked by electricity. All these examinations are telling us is negligence of the employers in terms of health and safety to upgrade the understanding of the employees and to provide them with proper safeties. So, however, we see a bit change. We see a bit change in terms of compliance in the construction industry through TPEC programs, which is government schools which are being built, roads which are being revamped and extended and so on in the new roads. So when we go there for organization and mobilization, we find that the compliance is there. Only basic things in terms of maybe sometimes not paying overtime and so on and so on. But however, when we engage the employer in an amicable way, we find good solutions, and the following months you'll find also compliance.
Okay.
For those, we are giving a great warning for those who doesn't want to comply, that we are not going to hesitate. We'll reinforce the labor inspector in terms of Mr. Kupembona, the health and safety inspector. We'll reinforce him in the field so that he can accompany the trade union, or to accompany him and show him where necessary we can.
Okay. Media reports, like in other sectors, we hear of workers who are not paid on time, salary delayed for months, and all that. In the sectors that you are representing, how often do those non-payment of salaries occur, and how do you deal with it, if there's any?
Actually, we did not observe that. Yes, less payment of salary, it is there in 2 years due to COVID impact. Those are the reasons we used to engage employers that, okay, fine, we finish to pay here and there, and then delayment of the salary, because workers, they are complaining that they are getting the salary on the force, but we are explaining to them clearly that the Labor Act does not allow the employer to carry on credits from the 7th month of the following month. So they are entitled to get their salary from the 30th to the 6th. But to them now it's a problem. It's like a delayment, because some they are renting, some they have got policies of insurance which they have to pay on the certain date agreed, maybe so to say 3rd or once of the following month.
Okay. In terms of non-compliance, how long does it take? For example, a company decides, no, we don't want to listen to the union, and there's a backlog. How long can one expect that thing to be resolved based on your experience?
It can take a month, because one is we have got procedures to follow in terms of the Labor Act. We have got what we call the Labor Commissioner. Is a route from the Minister of Labor which deals with dispute resolution. So you'll find that we have to refer the matter to the Labor Commissioner, which is unfair labor practice in this case. And then the Labor Commissioner has to settle the date within 20 days. So probably it takes a month.
Okay.
But in negotiation, in terms of where we have recognition agreement, it just takes a day, because you'll find the employer, we are recognized as a bargaining unity, whereby now we are entitled to sit with the employer and resolve matter and find amicable solution. So therefore it can take a day or two.
Okay. During COVID, I remember I engaged you on this, whereby some employers were saying, no, income is less, salaries are reduced, working hours are reduced. I want to find out now, those companies during that time that you were troubling you and your members in terms of reducing their salaries, what has happened ever since now? We are still faced with COVID-19, but things have subsided. What is the current situation?
For now, things have went better, in terms of the petrol industry, remember that the curfew disturbed too much the service station in terms of cutting hours from 10 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken, in the evening until 4 o'clock.
Yes.
So therefore, remember that the service station is 24 hours. So
Yes.
employees, they could manage to lose 4 hours, and then it was a problem unless it was explained. Secondly, is where we have got recognition agreement, we use the alternatives, not people to be retrenched, but to remain in employment. What were those alternatives which we used during the impact of COVID-19? One was to bring in all workers and cut 2 hours so that everybody can have a share, because the production was not the same, imagine. And then from there it was a big challenge. So therefore mechanisms were in place through recognition agreements. And remember, the employers, they own this matter to decide whatever they can do to the higher court. So we engaged them proper. More especially, we negotiated much on retrenchment not to happen, but the reducing of salaries and hours to keep everybody on board.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Matengo.
Thank you very much, Comrade Kenya Kambowe.
Okay.
Choose your Flex package with Paratus today. Sign up for ultra-fast fiber with the convenience of mobile LTE. That's 2 products in one bundle. It's new, it's one bill, and you can stay connected in more than one location.
For more information, visit paratus.africa/NA.
Always prepared. Paratus.
Warmer weather and stray showers are forecast for Nkurunkuru and Rundu today, but as from tomorrow the skies will clear and temperatures will go above the 30-degree mark. At Kongola and Katima, humid conditions prevail and stray showers are expected this afternoon and tomorrow morning. Temps are in the high 20s. Humidity and showers are expected at Kasane for the rest of this week.
I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you very much for watching and stay tuned for another episode of Regional Review, same time tomorrow.